Black CEO denied first-class meal, then fires entire flight crew after landing. The cabin lights dimmed and silver carts rolled down the aisle, gleaming with the quiet luxury of a first-class promise. Polished trays, delicate entrees, and whispered pleasantries passed from one passenger to the next, each plated dish a symbol of status and exclusivity. But when they reached her seat, the ritual stopped. A dismissive glance, a clipped tone, and then nothing. "We've run out," they claimed, offering crumbs of excuses while others around her dined. It wasn't a mistake, it was a decision. A choice made in plain sight under the glow of chandeliers at 30,000 feet. She sat in silence, fury hidden behind composure. They didn't know she was the CEO of the airline itself, and when the plane touched down, the flight crew's future ended where the runway began. Maya Johnson had worked her way into the rarefied air of corporate America, the kind of power few women, let alone black women, ever reached. Raised in a modest neighborhood by parents who stitched together long hours into survival, she had learned early that success wasn't gifted, it was carved. Each barrier she faced became a step, each dismissal another reason to climb higher. By 48, she had become the youngest and only black woman CEO in the history of her airline. A seat in the sky was hers, not as a privilege borrowed, but as an empire earned. That day, she boarded her own company's plane quietly, as she often did. She preferred to see her airline through the eyes of its passengers. No entourage, no announcement, just another traveler in first class with a boarding pass and expectations of dignity. The cabin shimmered with polished wood, champagne glasses catching the glow of the overhead lights, and passengers already leaned back in comfort. She took her seat at the window, prepared to review documents and enjoy the rare calm of uninterrupted flight. What she didn't expect was the creeping reminder of how prejudice travels with you. Even 30,000 feet above the earth, it wasn't loud at first. The small hesitations, the way the attendant's smile didn't quite reach her eyes, the subtle pause when checking her ticket, as though the seat itself must have been a mistake. Maya recognized it instantly. She had lived it before, in conference rooms, on trading floors, at gala dinners where her presence disrupted the silent hierarchy. But this time, in her own airline's cabin, the sting cut deeper. The trays clinked softly as they passed her row. Each passenger received their meal, a presentation of care and exclusivity. When they reached her, the cart seemed suddenly lighter. "We've run out," the attendant said curtly, offering only a bag of peanuts as though it were charity. The man beside her chuckled quietly. Another across the aisle lifted his eyebrows in amused disbelief. Maya sat still, her face unreadable. She had been denied more than a meal. She had been denied dignity in full view of those who knew she was expected to swallow it. Her silence was not acceptance. It was calculation. Every detail mattered. The tone of dismissal, the way others looked away, the false smile stretched thin by someone who thought she was powerless. Maya felt the weight of every passenger's gaze, some pitying, some entertained, others complicit in their silence. She had always believed that power was not how loudly you announced yourself, but how you responded when underestimated. And here, 30,000 feet in the air, she was being underestimated in her own house. By the time the wheels touched down, her decision had crystallized. The humiliation wasn't just personal, it was systemic, rooted in assumptions that infected even the culture she had worked so hard to build. The entire crew had failed to uphold the values the airline claimed to stand for. The moment the aircraft doors opened, their careers ended. The firings were swift, decisive, and absolute. The ripple was louder than any meal service. It was a message to her company, her industry, and anyone watching. Respect is not optional, not negotiable, and never to be rationed like a commodity. In the aftermath, word spread fast, through terminals, boardrooms, and headlines that feasted on the drama. Some praised her decisiveness. Others questioned the severity. But beneath the noise lay the deeper truth. This wasn't about food. It was about humanity, about the cost of prejudice disguised as routine, about the humiliation endured in spaces meant to symbolize equality of service. And for those who watched her story unfold, one question remained. If disrespect can cost an entire crew their careers, how much more could dignity build if it were honored from the start?